Canada has blessed us with some pretty iconic things like maple syrup, hockey, and Jim Carrey. Yet, one of the best things we got from Canada is something you probably haven't thought about in years: Life with Derek. If you haven't heard of this show, you're probably living under a rock. If you think ASMR gives you the tingles, it doesn't compare to rewatching Life with Derek, because that gives you all the tingles. When I rewatch this show, I'm transported to a time when I was 13 years old, watching this show on a Friday night, hearing the rain pouring outside. As you can tell, this show gives me all the nostalgia. Life with Derek originally premiered in Canada and was simulcasted in the US on the Disney Channel, and it ran from 2005 through 2009. It consisted of 4 seasons and had 70 episodes and a TV movie, which in my opinion is really impressive considering that the premise of the series was a rivalry between siblings. The story essentially starts when Casey's mom, Nora, marries George, who is Derek's father. There's also Lizzie, who is Casey's younger sister, and Edwin and Martina, who are Derek's younger siblings. I know, just try to keep up. They now all live together under one roof as the McDonald Venturi family. Now imagine you're back in middle school. Picture the kid who's the troublemaker of the class, always trying to be edgy. He was annoying, but for some reason everyone liked him and his collar was always popped up. You got that? Well, that's Derek in a nutshell. His foil is his new stepsister, Casey, who is essentially the opposite of him. She's very compassionate, good at school, and a bit stuck up. They're constantly clashing due to their differences. They're both portrayed by actors who at the time were 19 years old. I always find it kind of weird when actors play young characters, but I understand why. Lizzie is a very tomboyish character who is into playing various sports. She and Edwin have a very good sibling relationship, and I found them to be very relatable at the time. There's also Martina, or Marty, who at the start of the series is 4 years old, and the writers will continue to have her act like a 4-year-old for the rest of the series. The other supporting characters that have appeared from the start of the series to the end of the series are Pa, her guidance counselor, Emily, her friend, who sometimes is a very questionable friend, as whenever Casey does something embarrassing, she'll try and avoid her, and Sam, who is Derek's friend and becomes Casey's first love interest in the series. There were also a whole slew of other Canadian actors in this, such as Robbie Amell, Megan Park, Kate Todd, and a whole bunch more who have appeared in other great Canadian shows like Degrassi. The show originally aired in Canada's Family Channel, which from what I've gathered is comparable to something like ABC Family, which is now known as Freeform. Yet it was shown on Disney Channel. The episodes that I've watched didn't have a Disney Channel watermark, nor did they have a family watermark, so I'm not sure if these episodes were aired in their entirety on the Disney Channel. In some episodes, they talk in depth about the sexualization of a female video game character, showed consistent scenes of people making out, and there's a scene where Edwin talks about how a girl he likes is more developed in comparison to the other girls. Don't get me wrong, there were some questionable things, but it's pretty tame, and it dances around certain words, but I was still surprised these things came up. The more I continued to watch this series, the more I saw that it was actually pretty good for a family sitcom, and it wasn't merely my nostalgia. There is actual character development that occurs here, and you all know that I love that character development. In one episode, Casey's conflicted about her feminist ideals and realizes she could find a compromise with the opposing view, and I think that's a really important message to have in a show aimed at children. Then there's another episode where Derek gets called out for being immature, which hurts his chances with a girl he genuinely likes. So he decides to try and become mature, but he takes it a bit to the extreme and has to find a balance between both spectrums. The series does an interesting thing where it shows that even though Casey and Derek have conflicting personalities, one being more mature and the other one being more immature, but they're both selfish and to some degree lack self-awareness, which ends up hurting the people around them. It was something that as a kid watching it for the first time, I never realized, which is that Casey was as much an agent of chaos as Derek. It might not have been the same type of chaos, but chaos nonetheless. Now, like I said, even though it aired on Disney in the United States, this wasn't a Disney show, so these actors didn't go to the Disney Channel school of overacting. I'm not saying that the acting is perfect by any means, but the parents felt like actual parents, and the kids acted realistically enough, and sometimes that's all you really need. Although for the most part, the episodes do deal with their sibling rivalry, they also explore their relationship angst. Derek naturally likes to play the field and goes from relationship to relationship, while Casey has more of a harder time finding and maintaining a boyfriend. They even show Edwin and Lizzie going through their own relationship problems. Now, just a quick mention, they talk about sandwiches in like every episode. Either a character is eating one, someone is making one, another character is giving it to someone else, and even Derek at one point works at a sandwich shop. I don't know if Canadians just love sandwiches or the writers just try to keep it simple. I just thought it was funny enough to bring up. And they also do another really cool thing, which is that they do a play on famous movie titles. There's an episode called The Misadventures of Babysitting, another one called The Venturi Candidate, and When Derek Met Sally, and I thought they were just nice little Easter eggs. Now I'm going to talk about the big white elephant in the room, which is what a lot of people like to bring up whenever they talk about this show, and it's probably why a lot of people did watch the show, which is that Ashley Leggett and Michael Cedar, the two actors who portrayed Derek and Casey, had this great on-screen relationship to the point that people began to ship them. Whenever they would have an honest conversation where Derek would drop the bad boy act, or if they looked at each other too long, the fans would go crazy and read in between the lines as proof that either Derek liked Casey or that Casey liked Derek. The show even caught on to this and even tried to bait the fans by giving them more of these scenes. There's even a season 2 episode titled Date with Derek, which made me do a double take. Of course, it's not Casey going out on a date with Derek. It's just Derek going on a date with Emily, Casey's best friend. And there's even characters in the show who confuse them for being boyfriend and girlfriend. In the final episode, when Casey calls Derek a brother, he corrects her by saying stepbrother. She says same difference, and he just looks so disappointed. In an interview, Ashley Leggett even said that they would try to sometimes deliver their lines in a certain way to keep the viewers vigilant. If you go to any Life with Derek video on YouTube, you'll see that the majority of comments are discussing their relationship. From people morally pointing out their chemistry, to people lamenting that they never got together, and a few people calling out these shippers, only for these shippers to vocally defend their ship. It's a cesspool. Ultimately, if you watch this series when it was originally on, and even if you missed it, it's still a very good show to revisit. I'm still genuinely surprised that this show lasted for as long as it did, even surpassing the number of episodes of shows like Lizzie McGuire. I'm surprised because the show really had no clear hook. It's a series of episodes that dealt with the drama of a mixed family. It's not like Wizards of Waverly Place where they're all wizards, or Hannah Montana where she's a rock star. It's just about a family. Don't get me wrong, there are shows out there about the same premise, but it's rare to see one such as this aimed at children and for it to succeed as much as Life with Derek did. In fact, the Family Channel continued to air reruns until 2016, almost 7 years after the series had ended. The series even had a final movie that served as the finale for the show that aired a year after the last episode. The movie was called Vacation with Derek, and it was okay. It didn't pick up things from the finale, and it felt like an episode that would have been aired during the first or second season of the show. It's skippable at best. From what I've gathered from interviews, there was going to be a spin-off show called Life with Derek. Again, there was a script for it, but it never seemed to have been picked up, and there's little information about it. If you want to follow up with some of the people who worked on the show, Ashley Leggett has a vlogging channel which hasn't been active for almost a year, but it's still interesting to look through her past videos. There's also Jordan Todose, who played Lizzie, and she does have a fitness and lifestyle channel which she does keep active. And with that comes the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. I know this has been my second nostalgia video in a row, but I promise that this isn't what this channel will be all about. I've been working on a couple of video essays, but of course those are more time consuming. And I do want to have a more consistent uploading schedule, so I decided to make this video since I was rewatching the show. So yeah, subscribe so you can get notified whenever I upload more content. If you're interested, follow me on my social medias, which will be down below. Thank you guys for watching. See y'all next time.